Hello friends, you are welcome to Apostle Wakawa channel. In this video, we'll be looking at who is your marriage counselor. Now, I would like you to subscribe to my channel, click like and share with as many people as possible because what we are discussing here is very important and will be a blessing to you. Now let's quickly get into the video. Who is your marriage counselor? Does marriage counseling actually work? That was the question that somebody asked me recently. And the reason behind the question is that there are so many failed marriages today. A lot of marriages are ending up in divorce, a lot of broken homes, a lot of things as if it's not working at all. It is as if every day, the courts are filled with people that are ready to say no to the married life. Now, to answer the person, I had to look back at many years ago. Many years ago, I was a Bible scholar. That means I went to a Bible school and I wanted to know more about the things that matter, because divinity has absolute understanding of what is happening on earth today. So I went to this Bible school as many years back, that's almost 3 decades ago, and more than 3 decades ago to be precise. And while I was there, the subject of marriage came up, and we used to discuss with my friends. I remember one of my friends was even cracking a joke, and he said that some of us were not, qualified to marry because we do not have the power to do so. As at that time he was married, and he said that he has the power to marry. Well, when he mentioned about the power to marry, and based on all the, marriages I've seen, a lot of them broken here and there, I really had to dig deep. I had to study a lot to find out if it is something I should go into. Now, it was at that time that I made my research. I read the Bible and other books that explain the book. And in 6 months' time, I was married. But then when I saw the problems that were going on, and, people going to court, people going to counselors, people going to so many other places, therapists and so on, and it looks as if nothing was going on, then I decided to check in the scriptures to see where or who should be my counselor. And I'm glad to notify you that I found him a long time ago, and I put the counsel that he taught me into practice. As at the time of this recording, I've been married for over 30 years and I'm enjoying my marriage. Now, many people are still looking for counselors out there. And as far as I'm concerned, some counselors only whitewash the problem. They whitewash the problem and you think everything is okay. But by the time you get home, you discover that it is only a whitewash. But then, how did I find the counselor that was not whitewashing my problems, but solving my problems? Let me present you to this counselor. There were about 7 things that counselor promised to do. The story actually has to do with John the Baptist in the Bible. There was this particular time that John the Baptist was looking for the solution to the problems around and his own problems too. And he was looking at Jesus, and in his mind, he knew that Jesus is coming as the solution to the problems of humanity. So after some time, he was taken into prison because he went into a discussion that they felt he shouldn't go into. It was a marital issue. He was saying that that the marriage between the king and the queen then was wrong, because the king took his brother's wife, and then the woman was not happy, and there was a particular time that the king organized a meeting, a program, and there was a dancing competition that was there, and Herodias' daughter, that's the woman's name, now danced before the king. The king was so excited, and then he asked the daughter that, ask me what you will to half of my kingdom. And the daughter now went to her mother, and the mother said, tell him to give you the head of John the Baptist on a charger. Now, while John the Baptist was having issues, he now sent 2 of his disciples to go and ask Jesus. And the question is very simple. Are you the one to come, or should we look for another? That question is very important. Are you the one to come, or should we look for another? What that simply means is that if you find the counselor, you don't need to look for another. But if it is a whitewash, then you will have to look for another. A lot of people today will go from one place to the other looking for solutions to their problems, and many have not found it. The reason behind that is that you have not encountered the counselor. Should we look for another? It's a very important thing. Don't stay in a whitewashed house. Look for another. If the counseling you are receiving does not give you these 7 results, or address these 7 areas, then it's better you look for the counselor. Now, then when the disciples came to Jesus, he told them, he said, go and tell John the Baptist what you have seen and heard. What you have seen and heard. What that simply means is that when you meet the counselor, you will see, and then you will hear. The counselor is not hidden. He will not whitewash your problems. He will solve your problems. Now, I discovered that this counselor that I'm presenting to you right now has 7 areas where he deals with issues, and that is perfection as far as I'm concerned. Now, one of the areas is that go and tell John the Baptist what you have seen and heard. Number one thing that they have seen and heard is that he said that the blind receive their sight. Ladies and gentlemen, marriage has to do with your ability to see. There are many eyes that look, but the eyes that see are few. Are you blind in your marriage that you cannot see? Are you blind to such a way that you cannot see the next thing that will happen in your marriage? Then you need the counselor, so that blindness that covers your eyes and that of your spouse will be dealt with. You see, the spiritual blindness is worse than physical blindness. A lot of people cannot see the beauty of marriage. Just as the blind man cannot see the beauty of flowers, the beauty of the society, he lives in the dark. That is how a lot of people are living in the dark, even in their marriage. When you meet this counselor, you will see the beauty of marriage. The second thing that I would like to talk about that this counselor will help you to do, I'm trying to read some of my notes here because sometimes I need to get my notes in order for you to be able to understand that this discourse is properly looked into. So the second thing that you need in a counselor is this: the lame walk. He told them that the lame walk. So what kind of marriage are you involved in? Is it a lame marriage? Now, a lame person simply means one of the legs is walking but the other is not. Now, when you meet a man that is lame and one leg is straight, the other one is not, he walks like this. Sorry to mimic the lame, but I mean for you to understand what I'm talking about. So there are some marriages whereby they are lame. Now, it could be maybe the husband is standing straight, but the wife is lame, or the wife is standing straight, but the husband is lame. I've seen a lot of these kind of, combinations. Now, in lameness, it means that one is carrying the responsibility of the home. That is the strong leg now. The weak leg is not carrying anything. And in marriage, two are better than one because they bring, they have a good reward for their labor. So in marriage, both the man and the woman are bringing something on the table or to the table. But in a place whereby you see that it's only one person that is carrying all the responsibilities of the marriage, that is a lame marriage. Now, Jesus said, the lame will walk. So this is a counselor that will make the lame to walk. It's not a whitewash. It is a situation whereby the weak leg is balanced in such a way that the two of you can be resourceful together. The third thing that this counselor that I'm presenting before you does is this. The lame walk, he said. And then the third thing, of course, is that the lepers are cleansed. There are some homes that are having the problems of disease. Leprosy is a bad disease. It is a kind of disease that makes you to be smelling in the society. Nobody wants to see a leper. Nobody would like to shake a leper. Nobody would like to embrace a leper. Lepers are ostracized. They are pushed out of the society. Now, there are some homes where the problem they are passing through is like leprosy. You know, leprosy. Where the man will look at the wife, this is somebody that has loved before. He looks at her like a leper. And the man looks at his wife like a leper. They don't even want to come close to each other. They don't want to talk to each other. They want to stay far apart. That is a spiritual disease. Is that how your home is? There is this counselor that said that the lepers are cleansed. Maybe you need cleansing in your family. Maybe there is a sickness or a disease that is making you not to venture, not to advance, not to go forward in your home. This counselor will cleanse the leprosy. That is number 3. Number 4, the deaf hear. The deaf hear. Is your problem the problem of deafness? Because in some homes, they refuse to hear. I have seen a lot of people that are having problems, and even when the solution is presented before them, they refuse to hear. And if you refuse to hear, how will you know what to do? Are you deaf that you cannot hear? Are you deaf that you are not ready to hear the solutions to your family? I have seen a place whereby, the people are complaining. This is my problem. My marriage is hard. My relationship is bad. And then somebody is now telling them that, look, this is the way, walk in it, and your marriage will be okay. And they keep on saying, my marriage is bad. My marriage is bad. As if they are not hearing the solutions at all. That is deafness. You need a counselor that will heal you of every deafness so that you can hear the truth that will set you free. Number 5, this counselor that I found a long time ago also said, go and tell John the Baptist that the dead are raised. Now, a dead marriage is a marriage where both parties are saying no more. I have even heard of some counselors saying that this marriage cannot work. What? It cannot work. How can it not work? It is dead, yes. But this counselor that I'm presenting before you said that even the dead are raised. So even a dead marriage can be raised. A dead marriage can be resurrected. Love can be repaired. Love can be repaired. I remember talking about love can be repaired. There was one time I had a fan, and this fan was, cooling. It was giving me fresh air then. And one day, after some time, I noticed that the fan was not producing anymore. It would turn the head this way, turn the head that way, and I was not enjoying the fan anymore. And after some time, I felt the fan was not going to work for me, so I kept it by the side of the room, And I felt that fan is no good at all. It's a dead fan. Nothing good will come out of it. Until one day, a friend of mine came around and said, hey, man, there is a fan here, put it on. I mean, the weather is a little bit stuffy. And I said, it's a dead fan. He said, really? I said, yes. He said, okay. Can I take it home? I said, why not? It's a dead fan. He said, okay. So he took it home. And the next day he came back with a brand new fan for me that moves very well. I mean, I enjoyed the new fan and I was excited. I said, hey man, thank you very much. I never knew that you took the dead fan and then you went to the market and got me a new one. He said, this is not a new fan, it is your fan. I said, what, my fan? He said, yes. He said, it was neglected, it wasn't dead. You allowed dust to gather, it has not been oiled, it has not been cleaned up, it has not been properly serviced. So all I did was to go clean it up, service it, and I brought back your fan for you. And I said, what? That was the day that I know that love can go bad, but it can be repaired. That what I call dead can resurrect. My friend, I don't know who you are listening to me right now, but even dead marriages, this counselor can bring life to them and make sure that the marriage resurrects. That's the kind of counselor that you should look for. That's the counselor that you should go to. Number 6, for the poor, the gospel is preached. Now, this counselor is saying that a major problem to families or to marriages is poverty. Somebody says that there are levels of poverty, that the one that is very dangerous is called poverty. Did you notice that most of the problems of families, most especially husband and wife, are financial? Yes. Most of the problems that are happening in very many homes are financial. They cannot provide for their necessities. And this counselor said, to the poor, the gospel is preached. That means he gives good news to the poor. So if your problem is poverty, he will give you the good news and deal with the poverty so that prosperity becomes your portion. That's the kind of counselor to look for. And finally, he said, go and tell John the Baptist, blessed is he that is not offended in me. Number 7 is, don't be offended in your counselor. This counselor will only bless you if you are not offended. That if you are offended, then you will not be able to enjoy the benefits and the blessings of this counselor. Blessed is he who is not offended in me. Don't be offended in your counselor. He is there to look for your good. He is there to help you out. He is there to heal you of whatever challenge that you are passing through. Now, somebody many years ago has been able to do these 7 things for me. He is the counselor. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the counselor of counselors, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the Word of God, the one that will perform these 7 things in your life and ensure that your home is built and that the wine of your marriage does not run dry. Ask for this counselor, look for him, and your marital problems will be solved. Well, pay attention to what I've said. Look for this counselor. You'll find him in the pages of scriptures. Go to the Bible and look for him. He is there all the time. And he's there at your beck and call. He will counsel with you and ensure that you have a good family and a good home. I don't know what problems that your family is having right now, but the problems cannot be more than the 7 that I've mentioned right now. And I'm glad to announce to you that the counselor of counselors is always there to solve your problems. Well, until we see again in the next video, you have an excellent time. Goodbye. Thank you.